guys, it's Bren, and I just got home from work. It has been a long day. I look like crap, but whatever. There was something on my mind that I wanted to sit down and talk to you all about. I notice a big difference in my videos between when I'm not wearing lashes, when I'm wearing small lashes, and when I'm wearing big lashes. And I almost feel like when I'm wearing big eyelashes, I look younger and thinner. I don't know how that's possible. Maybe the lashes are so big they make the rest of me look smaller in comparison, but I don't know. No lashes today, because like I said, it was a long day. But this was on my mind. I wanted to talk about music, kind of just about how important it is to me, but also how it has played a role in so many different relationships and dating situations that I've been in. And I had this on my list, I've been, since I started this channel, just kind of making lists about things and topics that I could talk about. And music was one, but I didn't really know how I was going to talk about it. And then last night, I was texting with this guy from an online dating website. I turned my profile back on. I'm really not hotly pursuing it or anything. I'm not even actively seeking anyone out. I just have it on, so if someone emails me, I'll read it maybe. And I'm only on one site. If I was really going for it, I'd be on multiple sites and everything. I'm not quite there yet, but it's there if somebody emails me. So this one guy did, and we started chatting. And this poor guy, he was just asking me all these questions that asking me if I liked all these things that I hated. He was like, do you like roller coasters? I hate roller coasters. I hate amusement parks. They're hot. They don't offer anything to me because I can't do rides. I get sick. I hate adrenaline. I'm so wound up all the time. I don't need to increase my adrenaline. And I can't do roller coasters. So I was like, no, they make me sick. Sorry if that's a deal breaker. And then he's like, do you like swimming? I'm like, I felt like maybe that was a way of trying to figure out if a girl's comfortable in a swimsuit or not. I don't know what that question was all about, but I was like, I like swimming in the ocean, which is the truth. Then he asked me if I like water slides, and I was like, honestly, I don't think I've been on a water slide since I was 10. I haven't really thought about it. And then he asked me if I like movies, which is kind of it's sort of asking someone if they like puppies. Pretty much everybody likes puppies, but that doesn't really tell you much, and at what point do you go from just a normal amount of liking puppies to really liking puppies? I like movies, but I'm not a movie enthusiast the way I am into music. So I was like, okay, I have to turn this conversation around because right now I sound like the girl who doesn't like anything or have any interests. So I was like, what I really prefer to do in the summer is I love going to concerts and music festivals. I go to tons of concerts, a couple a month at least. I'm big into music. What kind of music do you like? And he says, I guess I kind of like rock, but I don't really have any favorite bands. Then he proceeded to ask me if I like sports, and I was just like, this is done. We have nothing in common. But who doesn't like music? Who doesn't have a favorite band? I feel like if he had said, I really love gangsta rap, and started listing his top 10 favorite gangsta rappers, I could actually work with that. Even, God forbid, if he loved country music, which is not my thing at all, even so, I could make work. But to just not really be into music, I just don't know if I could date someone who's not into music. I've talked on this channel before about how it's so great if the person you're dating, or at least for me, if the person I'm dating likes the same music as me, just because I'm so into music, that just automatically gives us so much to talk about right off the bat. But it's not a deal breaker. I think everyone that I have dated has kind of liked the same music as me, at least a little, except for Adam, the guy I dated after my divorce, who I dated for 3 years. And we met at a Sublime cover band show, but other than kind of liking Sublime, we really had no musical taste in common at all. He loved European trance music. Don't ask me. But he didn't really get into anything I was into, and as a result, I didn't go to many concerts when I was with him. We didn't go to concerts a lot. We saw a lot of local live music, but that was about it. But my ex-husband and I met on the Less Than Jake message board because I liked Less Than Jake, and he actually knew the band. He was friends with Chris the singer's brother, and had hung out with them and all this stuff. So that was a big thing. And he also, his screen name was A Newfound Glory Song. So when I saw that right away, I was like, marry me, and he did. But so music played a large role in my getting to know him. It was why and how I met him, and we went to tons of concerts. Guys that I dated before him too, we went to a lot of concerts. Some of the guys that I dated in college, I dated a guy who was in a band. I dated a guy just because, this guy's my friend now, so if he ever watches this, he's gonna think it's funny. But yeah, there was this one guy who I went out with just because he was 6'8", and he liked Real Big Fish. So I was like, let's date. And we did for a little bit. Now we're just friends. But music has always been something that if I could find that common ground with someone, whether there was a romantic connection or not, we could talk. In fact, there was this one person I met on online dating who, honestly, I never saw us together. His personality was just very cynical. I don't know. He was like hated everything, but he loved music and he loved the same type of music as me. I think I had a 3-hour conversation with him about music and bands and concerts because we had that in common, even though we didn't have anything else in common. If only I could just find that with somebody that I liked everything else about them too. But then, with Nick, he kind of liked Newfound Glory, and he had heard of all the bands that I liked, and we could talk about it a little bit. And then with Zach, he loved Andrew McMahon so much. And honestly, at that point, I had, back in the day, been a really big Something Corporate fan. But I'd listened to Jack's Mannequin a little. So Andrew McMahon, if you don't know, he's one guy, but he was in a band, Something Corporate. Then he was in a band, Jack's Mannequin. Now he's in a band or like a project, Andrew McMahon in the Wilderness. All amazing. He's so talented. He's so amazing. But I hadn't listened to too much Jack's until I met Zach. And then he exposed me to much more of it, and the first time I ever kissed him was to Spinning from Glass Passenger, so that song will always remind me of him. But that's okay because he's a cool guy and we're friends, so it's not tainted or anything. But yeah, we listened to so much Andrew together. And then Steve. I fell in love with Steve's musical taste, and it wasn't the same as mine. He liked more indie, but it was sort of similar, and there was some overlap in the bands that I liked, and so it was a really good way to expose each other to new music. We sort of did that, and his taste in music is still just the best. And then there was this guy, Jack, who I haven't told you guys about yet. I keep telling you I'm going to. That'll probably be coming up in a couple videos here. But he and I, he also liked Something Corporate, and so we talked about the old days of Love and Drive-Thru Records and stuff, and he went to a Fall Out Boy show with me, and then I'm trying to think, I guess there was this one guy, Pat. I'll tell you about him in the future too. He was an old school punk. He had full sleeve tattoos. He had Clash tattoos, but he also really liked Panic at the Disco. And we did not work out because he was a jerk. But on our first date, it was pretty amazing because we just sat around and played songs on the jukebox or the touch tunes for each other, just back and forth all night. And it was amazing because we could just talk about music. And when I met Josh, he had heard of Newfound Glory, kind of liked them, probably wouldn't listen to them of his own accord, but they had just dropped a new album. So just the other day, Newfound Glory posted that it was the 3-year anniversary of Resurrection coming out, and then I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense, because that had just come out when I started dating Josh, and Josh had gone and listened to the whole album so that he could talk to me about it, which was great. And then Andrew McMahon had also just dropped a new album at that point, the one with Cecilia and the Satellite on it, and I remember after our first date, we sat in the car just all night and we just listened to the new album. And Halls is my favorite song on that album. It is such a good song. It never became one of the hits, but it's so great. And that kind of became me and Josh's song. I think we like made out to that song or something. I'll never ever be able to listen to that song and not think of him. Like on our third date, we like laid on his basement floor and just listened to it a million times. Music has just been so present in so many of my different relationships. This becomes problematic sometimes, though, because what happens when you break up and you have this musical connection and you love that music, but then it sort of hurts to listen to it. And I had to deal with that when I got divorced. I liked Less Than Jake before I met my ex-husband. Obviously, that was how I met him. But he liked them so much more. I mean, he knew them. It was more so even his band than it ever was mine. So when I got divorced, it was just too weird to listen to them anymore. And it took years. We split at the end of 2009. It was mid-2013 when I went to see them in Madison because I just happened to see that they were playing. And I went up there and it was weird. I mean, it made me think of my ex-husband. But it was okay to go to the show. I still don't really sit around and listen to them too much, though. Sometimes if I'm like going to a show, I will, or when I'm working out. But I mean, that music is always going to be tied to him. It's always going to make me think of the past, which I don't necessarily always want to sit around and do. But then there are artists like Andrew, who I have thought were completely wrapped up in one romantic relationship, but then I get over that one. And that artist, sorry, my phone's going off. That artist meant something different in a different relationship. And so sometimes it's not necessarily just artists, but it's albums or it's songs. And like I said, sometimes I don't know that I'll ever totally get over those things. I don't think I'll ever listen to Spinning and not think of Zach. I will never listen to Halls and not think of Josh. The song Young Volcanoes by Fall Out Boy was playing the first time that I told Jack I loved him, and I will never hear that song and not think about Jack and that stupid night, which I will get to telling you about in a couple of videos here. But, and I mean, there's so many songs that shuffle up that remind me of Steve too, just because I still have all his music on my iTunes because it's good music. But then there are other bands that I hope nobody can ever take from me. One is Bryce, the Rocket Summer, because I found him on my own and never really have I dated anyone who's really liked him. Josh and I went to a couple concerts together. Josh liked him, but not like on his own, would listen to him when I wasn't around or anything. So that still felt like my thing, my band, nobody has ruined that for me yet. But the big question becomes, could anybody ruin New Found Glory for me? That's my band, man. I mean, I found them on Napster in 2000 when I was a freshman in college, and it just was my perfect music. I mean, I just remember hearing it and being like, this is everything I've been looking for in a band, like, because I kind of gotten into like the pop punkiness of like Blink-182 and Lit and Eve 6, those bands that were getting some mainstream play. I already liked Less Than Jake, Real Big Fish. It had Sell Out on the radio, and I was a big fan of MXPX back in high school. Actually, that was kind of my gateway to pop punk was MXPX because I went to a Christian high school and a lot of the punk kids there listened to MXPX. But then I heard New Found Glory and I just loved it. Like, self-titled album had just come out, but I actually went back and fell more in love with Nothing Gold Can Stay, which had come out in 99, and that is like always going to be my favorite album. I've loved everything that they've put out still to this day. And while like I said, most people that I've dated like them, get more into them as they get to know me, and I drag them I'm going to see them 6 times this year. I've already seen them 5 times this year, and I'm seeing them again in November. Like, what? And that might be my record for how many times in 1 year that I've seen them, but I've seen them so many times I can't even count. I kind of wish I had kept count, but I haven't. But I don't know that I would want to date someone who liked New Found Glory more than me. I mean, for one, if somebody really liked New Found Glory more than me, then that they would be like obsessed. Like it would be a little scary because it's almost scary how much I like them. But you know, I don't know that I like what happened with my ex-husband, and I liked Less Than Jake, but he like was way more into them and like everything, and I'll never be able to really listen to them again the same way. I don't want that to happen to NFG. They're my band. And I don't even know if I'll get Andrew back at this point. I mean, every song, every album, his music, if I had to just describe his music, it would probably just be beautiful. He's so talented and amazing. I don't know that there are any Andrew McMahon songs from any of the three bands that don't make me think of some dude. But there are so many New Found Glory songs that I just love because I love them and they're mine. And I don't want to lose that. But then again, if I did meet someone who loved all the bands that I love as much as me, wouldn't that be so amazing? I mean, going to concerts is my favorite thing in the entire world. If I could be anywhere at any given moment, you ask most people that question, where would you be right now? You could be anywhere. They would say probably like on a beach with a pina colada, and you know, that's number two. But number one is just front row, New Found Glory, just sweaty strangers all around, just getting kicked in the head by crowd surfers, but just screaming the lyrics to my favorite songs with a bunch of people that are just as into it as me. That is my happy place. That is when all of the anxiety of the world just melts away, and I don't think about anything else. I don't think about work. I don't think about relationships. I don't think about people I'm feuding with. I don't think about money or bills. I don't think about anything. That is my release. In fact, if I don't go to a concert often enough, like if a couple months go by and I haven't been to a show, like I have to go to a show because like I need that release. It's like my medication. And I have a couple concerts coming up and I don't know who I'm going to go with since I'm single right now. It's kind of weird and stressful a little bit. I don't really like going to shows by myself just for safety reasons because they're in big cities and not great areas and I'm female, you know, but I might end up doing that. I don't know. But I just don't know that I could date someone who just, I guess, kind of likes rock but doesn't really have any favorite bands. I feel like that would be like if you said to someone, like, I love animals, you know, I have a cat, I've always had dogs, kind of want to get another dog. Do you like animals? And they were just kind of like, I mean, I guess I kind of like animals. Like, I don't have any. I mean, I don't know, whatever. Oh, except I think I could probably even work with that a little bit more, you know? And the people I date definitely don't need to have other hobbies in common with me. Like, I don't think I want to date someone who's really into candles. That would kind of be weird and might get sort of competitive, you know? But music is something that I want to share with somebody. But as I sit here and I trash this, I guess I kind of like rock guy, he continued to talk to me a little bit, and then today he texted me and said, do you like My Chemical Romance and Yellowcard? And I was like, well, yeah, I like both those bands. They're not like in my top 10, but you know, they're all right. I've seen Yellowcard live a few times. They're really good live. And he was like, oh, okay. I was just wondering because I like both those bands. And I put on New Found Glory Pandora Station today and like they shuffled up. And I was like, oh, well, see, now we're getting somewhere. He's teachable. But anyway, I'm just curious if you guys have ever had an experience that's similar where, I mean, I think it's very common, maybe what, like you go through a breakup and there's a certain song that plays on the radio that you connect with, and then every time you hear that song, you're always going to think of that breakup. I think everyone probably has gone through that. But has music ever played a giant role in your relationship so that when that relationship ends, you just don't know if you can ever listen to that band again? Or maybe it's something else. Maybe it's like you watched Game of Thrones every episode with this person and then you break up and now like you have to watch Game of Thrones by yourself or something. I don't watch that show. I just know most people do. You know, or maybe it's even like cooking. Maybe like you always used to cook this certain dish with somebody and then you break up and now you like still want to eat that because it was good, but you feel weird making it alone. You know, it could be anything like that. I'm just curious. But anyway, that'll wrap up today's video. Thanks for watching. Once again, I've got lots more coming up, so stay tuned and follow me on Instagram at Candles and Music. Bye.